Quoque means back at you. All right. It occurs when you avoid addressing an issue or hostile charge by making a similar charge against your opponent. Don't tell me I need to lose weight. You smoke. Okay. It's like they take the argument and turn it around and blame the other person. Okay. I know I am, but what are you? Oh, I'm sorry. I know you are, but what am I? Sorry. Old Pee Wee Herman, right? I know you are, but what am I? How many times have you all heard that? Okay. Taking it and putting it back on the other person. Okay, so another one, it's got these two little alien looking dudes sitting here talking in a lab, and one of them's like, I told you to turn the autoclave off last night, but you didn't. And then his partner in crime says, well, you forgot to turn off 2 nights ago. Okay, well, there's an argument. The problem is, as they look at each other, they go, you didn't turn it off, and I didn't turn it off, and now and now the place is burning down. Okay, so this is why tu ko que is not that great. All right, and then you got the cat yelling at the lady yelling at the cat, you're not my real mom. Okay, so tu quo que, 2 wrongs make a right, is a fallacy that is used to excuse bad behavior on the grounds of the other person's bad behavior. Well, you did it. Okay, it occurs when someone rationalizes that one person or one group's actions is justified. Like, so these people are doing this and they're justifying it because of some other person or group's actions is just as bad or worse. Okay, so, well, they did it. Why can't we? Well, I'm going to give you an example of that in just a second. 246 and 247 gave many awesome examples. Let's go to... the reason why a lot of times people do this is to excuse bad behavior. So you blame me for going out when you're moody all the time. Well, you're still going out all the time. Like, blaming them isn't really the point here. Like, why are you going out all the time? Okay, well, it's because you're moody. All right. Why did I get a ticket? Right when you're driving really fast and you're really just, there's a ton of people ahead of you and you get pulled over and you get a ticket. And you're like, well, why are you giving me a ticket when the last 3 people were going just as fast as I was? Well, you got caught. It doesn't deny the fact that you did the same thing. Like, your behavior was still wrong, so you're going to get a ticket. So the other didn't get caught. Doesn't mean you were still in the right. You were still in the wrong. Okay? They did it first. Why am I getting in trouble? Well, because you're getting in trouble. I know. I'm not saying it's fair. Okay? I'm not saying it's fair. But that's the case. You do something wrong, you get caught. Whether or not other people get caught is not the issue. The fact is that you did it. Okay? All right, so justifying bad behavior for legitimate reasons. So sometimes you're being robbed at gunpoint and you're taking money out of the cash register. So taking money out of the cash register is not a good thing. But if you're being robbed, it's, you're being justified because you're being robbed, okay? Now, pushing somebody is not good behavior. But if you're pushing someone to get out of the way of a car, then it's justified. Okay, so there's a little bit of a leeway on this one. So you can justify the behavior depending on what it is. All right, so sometimes we use this as a look who's talking argument. So denying a claim because they think that the speaker who is making the claim is hypocritical. So that's, well, look who's talking. All right, so the idea is, why should I listen to you? Again, you're not my mother. All right, turning that around. And you did it when you were my age. You did it. Why can't I? Okay. So here's one where you could say, why is the teacher so concerned with us being late when she's late all the time? Well, that's not the issue. The teacher being late isn't the issue. The issue is that you're late, okay? And you're late, and policy says if you're late, your points go down. So fair or not, whether that's fair isn't the point. The point is you're still late for class, and syllabus or whatever says if you're late for class, you will be docked points. Again, using someone else as an excuse for your behavior doesn't justify the fact that your behavior is still wrong. Okay, I know it's annoying, it sucks, it happens. As a teacher, I'm actually like an hour and a half early because I like to prepare and just kind of be in the classroom and get in the zone. It's a teacher thing. So you wouldn't have that issue with me. But either way, again, that unfair is not the point. The point is still the behavior that you are doing. So not you particularly, but if you were to make that argument. Okay, sensus genitum, sorry, I'm not good with words, y'all. Sensus genitum, or it's bandwagon, is kind of my favorite thing. I love bandwagon as an argument because everybody does it, all right? And Did you see what I just did there? Haha, I used the fallacy. So this is the bandwagon fallacy. It attempts to establish that something is true or worthy simply because many people believe it is or because everybody's doing it. Okay, so the idea here would be like the speed limit in Paradise should be raised to 45 because everybody drives it that fast anyway. Used to. I haven't been up to Paradise in a while. Maybe it's not the case. Maybe it is. Okay, so the idea is everybody's doing it. My favorite is the lemmings that are going off the cliff, and it's like, Liz says, and the response to the other lemming is, Liz, if Liz told you to jump off a bridge, told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it? Oh, told you not to. Y'all, I can't read it, it's super blurry. Anyway, if Liz told you not to jump off a bridge, would you do it? Okay, so the joke is, if she told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it? The joke faltered, y'all. I'm not going back to redo this. It's been an hour. Okay. Okay, so the bandwagon fallacy is it consists of a fallacy that appeals to the authority of everyone. Real quick, appeal to authority. I don't know if I've already covered this yet, but the idea to appeal to authority is the assumption that you give authority to someone and then you validate your actions based on them. So say the president, right? That's a huge authority figure. And you say, well, the president's doing it, so I can too. So you're utilizing their quote unquote authority to validate your terrible behavior or whatever. Okay. So this particular case, the authority, the appeal to authority is going to be everyone. Everyone's the authority in this case. And you say it's based on the assumption that the course of action should be taken or the ideas should be sorted because everybody's doing it. Okay. And I remember you got to do some research, really check out what is going on behind this. Okay, so I'm trying to think of some examples. 248, I should just look at the book, right? So 248, join the millions of satisfied customers, right? Here we go, as an advertisement. Millions of satisfied customers who have purchased a crocodile pickup. What are you waiting for? Okay, everyone else is doing it. Why don't you? Okay, all right. So appeal to tradition. We've always done it this way. It's always been done this way. Darlings, times are changing. Maybe it's time we do something a little bit different, okay? All right, it's 2021. Let's try for something new. Okay, so a fallacy that occurs when a belief or action is supported on the ground that it conforms to traditional ideas or practices, okay? So it's an appeal to tradition, all right? We've always done it this way. Vote for Smith. We've always had a member of the Smith family in our state register. Well, you know what? Smiths aren't doing so good. Maybe it's time for a change. Just because it's always been done this way doesn't mean you should always do it that way. You know, you don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel, but at some point, maybe it's important to look beyond the, appeal to tradition and go and do something else. Okay? All right, so there's not going to be any memes for that one, but we do have the next one. Appeal to pity. Okay. Appeal to pity is when you try and win an argument by preying on someone's sympathy, okay, or their pity or their guilt. And rather than making a logical argument to your reasoning, you just, oh, poor me, poor me. Okay, so I wasn't able to open the assignments on Canvas because we didn't have the money to pay for our electric bills and our power was cut off and more, wine. Okay, this is terrible because sometimes things truly do happen. So please, this is not an insult to anyone who's going through a struggle right now. But the argument here is instead of saying this is the reason why I didn't log on, I just didn't log on. It's the, oh, well, look at all this and I want you to have sympathy and feel guilty for me. And rather than, focusing truly on the argument, you use something else so that somebody has pity on you and goes, oh, I'm so sorry, right? So again, I kind of feel guilty when I use that one as an excuse, or as an example, but you kind of get it. So starving artist, t-shirt, donations are welcome. I'm a starving artist. Well, you also get a chance to choose certain things. So say for some reason, your assignments didn't open up and you do have a way of getting, computer access in the library or something. Say you're in a situation where you could get the access, but you're using this other excuse as the reason why you couldn't get onto Canvas, right? As a starving artist, you did choose to be an artist. At some point, you can get a job. So you're now begging for money because you want people to feel sorry for you because you are a quote unquote starving artist, okay? You kind of get it. All right. So, house foreclosure by a bank. I need money. There's probably more reasons that went into that. Like, why is it foreclosed? There's a lot behind it, but they appeal to that pity to really make you go, oh, here you go, here you go. This is terrible, absolutely terrible. But a lot of times there is a sense of responsibility that people should be taking on, rather than just appealing to the pity, really taking ownership of said situation. So, anyway. It is what it is. This is just how appeal to authority works. Or, I'm sorry, appeal to pity works. So, appeal to pity is a logical fallacy that occurs when someone argues that others should follow a course of action or hold a certain belief for no other reason. All right, no other reason than they should feel compassion for the, irrelevant claims or irresponsibility of the speaker. So, maybe the guy who bought the house bought it way out of his financial needs and he knew it and didn't care and was like, screw it, wasn't, paying bills. Maybe they got themselves into that situation on their own and now they're like, oh, poor me, give me money. It's like, well, sometimes we do have to just suck it up and bite the bullet and say, man, I screwed up. I got to take responsibility for my own actions. Okay. So when we do an appeal to pity, we're ignoring the actual issue itself and then just trying to use something that somebody will feel sorry for us and please take us in and help us. So keep that in mind. People do this all the time. No offense to students. I see it often. Things do happen. I totally get it. I am very compassionate. But at the same time, sometimes, I will see some students just kind of lean a little too far on one side. I'm like, well, let's go back to the actual issue here. Okay. So keep that in mind. Whether it's me or anyone else that you use this to, I see, sometimes people will do this at, work. They call in and they claim this and they claim that. And at some point it's like, yeah, well, you also have to take responsibility for, your actions. So say someone's calling in all the time because they just didn't feel like coming into work. Or they just didn't really emotionally feel it. Well, they get fired. And then they're like, well, poor me, I got fired because of this or that. It's like, well, what actions did you do and took to get you to that point? Whose fault is this? Are you appealing to us as, poor me? Or is there something that was really absolutely out of your control? No, these are things to consider when using appeal to pity. All right, last but not least, equivocation, and it's where you use, you shift the meaning of a term in the middle of an argument to make your conclusion to seem like it logically follows the premise. So here's your premises, and one of the words in there you kind of use and manipulate so that the conclusion should make sense. Again, I did a video on this. You can go up and double check that one. So in the realm, here's an example. In the realm of human experience, we all find ourselves presented with difficult choices to make. Absolutely, that's a true statement, right? Difficult choices to make. It is then a very human experience to make the mistake that our client did. Well, yeah, let's kind of look this one over. We're talking about, committing murder. Well, is murder really the difficult decision that you made here? Or is there something else, right? They're using that word to manipulate it to validate why it's okay that their client did what they did, okay? All right, and again, we've covered these particular memes. So we'll get to the end here where we talk about, again, equivocation, and that's the logical fallacy in which the same word is used with two different meanings. Okay, so this hurts me a lot more than it hurts you. Your dad says he's like whipping you with a belt or something, right? And the idea here is that they're using the word hurt as if it's the same thing. Getting spanked on the butt with a, belt. I don't know if anyone's been spanked here, but my dad used to fake it. He'd pretend he'd just snap his belt. That hurt me emotionally. Oh, dad's going to spank us. Right? So when there's someone spanking you, right, and they're saying this is hurting you or hurting me a lot more than it's hurting you. And the idea is, well, your bum hurts really bad and you probably can't sit for a couple days. That hurt is a lot different than the emotional hurt that the parent is feeling as they're beating you senseless. Right? The idea here is that physical hurt and that emotional hurt are the same thing. Darlings, they're not. Okay. All right. So again, it's the assumption that the both physical and emotional pain are acting the same, and they are not. So, all right. Well, okay. That's pretty much it. I know I kind of went through these a little faster than usual, but again, I have those videos, and I'm pretty sure y'all have watched them. You've watched them? Okay. All right. So I'm going to hold you accountable for that, as well as this video and the others. And that's pretty much it. Please go back and read the book. The examples they use, I really, really like. And you saw that I used them in my PowerPoint as well. But I really think they do a great job here. So anyway, All right, I'm very excited to see how you all use these in your advertisement assignment, and that's pretty much it. So go ahead and keep going. And by the way, you can use these fallacies as examples in any writing that you have if you feel so obliged. And even if for some reason you see I've used one, absolutely go ahead and use it against me. I'm okay with that because it shows me that you know exactly what these fallacies are about. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and you're good to go.